video. Okay, welcome. It's Dr. Mark Styers. You're here at Cafe Alive, and I have with me Dr. Christian Stehr.
Hello, Mark.
Button that up. So, I wanted to get Christian on the live feed to talk about Discover in August. And we're doing 24th, 25th, and 26th in Hamburg, Germany at the Chiropractor Theater. And this program, for those of you who don't know, is the first of its kind ever to be done. It's going to be the first TED Talks ever done with doctors. There's going to be 15 doctors of chiropractic, the leaders from the top 5 chiropractic schools in the world from 3 continents. And there's also going to be 15 doctors of medicine like Dr. Stehr, who gave up a career at the top of the food chain in medicine to practice chiropractic. And I like to remind people or tell people that don't know, the reason that these medical doctors have moved into chiropractic is because they understood one thing. There's a lot of great surgeons in the world. There's very, very, very few great chiropractors. So when I meet these people, I always tell them it's a numbers game. I say, look, if you need to have surgery, down the street, there's a bunch of great surgeons to take care of you. But how many people do you trust to take care of the power of life? And all of these people came into chiropractic. The one common thing is they all come from different places, different specialties. But the one common thing that brought them into chiropractic was their experience with chiropractic changing their life. So the theme of this Discover is we have 30 doctors. The first time a platform's been built, and I got cut off yesterday in my Facebook feed, is that chiropractic, the profession of chiropractic and the profession of medicine, never build a platform for these two professions to come together at the top level. Not about politics, just about how do we work together to move the big ball forward to help the world get healthier, because medicine is needed, chiropractic is needed. One is overutilized and one is underknown. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking. I did a Facebook Live video yesterday, and I was sitting out in the sunshine, and I never knew this could happen. I have a black iPhone. All of a sudden it shut off and said emergency, and I had some people sending me messages going, what was the rest of that thing? And it was about this platform Discover, for chiropractors to come that have never had a chance to interact with people in medicine and talk about chiropractic. Because too many people in my profession are wannabe medical doctors. And I always tell them the medical doctors are always shocked, like you, that can't understand why chiropractors would want to be like medical doctors when you guys love what we have.
Yeah.
So the main reason why I want to do this talk, I'm going to wrap it up, I got a big mouth, is I wanted to get everybody on here, all the medical speakers that are speaking about chiropractic, because the one theme of this, the word Discover, is all of these speakers are going to be speaking 10 to 20 minutes, and I want each person to give their idea of what they want the audience to discover from them. So I thought I would give Dr. Stehr a chance to give everybody a little teaser about what is it that he wants people to discover.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that? I just said it.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah. Thank you for telling all the stuff, and thank you for teaching all the stuff and changing my life. The first thing, Mark changed my life totally. After the first adjustment, I had a total emotional change. And I came as an old school medicine guy with all this stuff. I told this a lot of times before. And this was a completely new world. I felt like I was brainwashed. And then I discovered that the medical study is a brainwash in a way that you think pharmaceutical and give a pill for this and this and this. And with chiropractic, I made the experience that the body heals itself, that all the healing is inside of you. It comes from upside down, inside out. And we have the skills to release this. And the medical world is seeking for what chiropractors have. And that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is you need both. For emergency cases, you need medicine to repair your broken bone when it's seriously dislocated or an inflamed appendix has to be taken out. I think this happened to you. Medicine saves lives. But after the emergency case is done, you should visit a chiropractor to release the power of life, to turn on the power of life, to connect your brain with the body.
So imagine that, you chiropractors are hearing that, This was a guy that was a trauma surgeon for 12 years. If you got hit by a truck and they flew you in a helicopter, this was a guy that put you back together. And now his sole focus, and he's still practicing chiropractic inside of a hospital.
Yeah, and the medical world doesn't know what chiropractic is, what chiropractic does.
But what happens when you work on your colleagues, the nurses, the doctors, the chiefs of departments?
They were totally impressed, and they came and got adjusted.
So
just all the starting with the back pain. I know it's not treating, it's not a treatment, it's not for pain, but all the lumbago patient were partly hard to get out of the ER with chiropractic. After the first adjustment, 90% of them put on their clothes and went home. This doesn't happen with medicine, even after getting a lot of pills and whatever.
Yeah, and that was, you're going to learn more about his story when he tells his story at Discover, but that's what he was talking about, that he's told me this story when he first came and started learning from me. It was only philosophy that I pumped into their head, and just as a gift, as they were leaving.
4 days.
4 days of philosophy and guilt.
And things we never heard before, which doesn't exist in the medical world.
And I taught him how to move the sacrum, the Kreuzbein for the German folk. And
the holy bone. Sacrum.
Well, means the center of all life. We won't go and make people think we're talking about religious shit, but 10 of the 31 nerves coming out of the brain go through the sacrum. So this group of doctors that I had them for 4 days and just pumped them full of philosophy and guilt over where they were at, and taught them just to move a sacrum. And Christian is telling the story, that he was working in the ER, and when people would come in, he was sneaking them into the room, adjusting their sacrum.
Secretly at the beginning, of course, because I was very afraid.
Because he was a surgeon. So imagine that. He's sneaking an adjustment into the sacrum, people coming off ambulances. And you're going to hear some of these stories. There's
Amazing things happen, yeah.
A few people that I've taught over the years that are like my guys, I say, that when I'm around them, we're like little kids because we're from the same generation. Christian's one of them, Dr. Hagen, Dr. Tobias, you're going to meet, and Klaus. We're all from the same generation. We get together, we're like little kids, and we both love what we do so much. It's what we have in common. We're always talking and telling stories, and Christian was doing this in the beginning, but Hagen is working in a small hospital in the East, and this guy is so jacked up about how much his life changed. Sometimes he'll bring 90-year-old people in the ambulance, can't move, and he'll just snatch the ambulance and bring them in the other room and adjust them. And they always tell these stories how these people that come in the hospitals in ambulances, they just get up and put their clothes on and leave after one adjustment. So it's really important for the profession to hear these stories, because the things I get to hear from these guys all the time, I'm always laughing when they're telling me this stuff and they're looking at me funny, and I tell them there are chiropractors around the world that have never heard these stories, that you're sneaking or just openly now. He has a contract. He's only practicing chiropractic now in the hospital. The hospital, he was a trauma surgeon for years, gave him a contract just to do chiropractic.
Put away the knife on the 1st September 2013.
2013.
Yes.
All right. That's why I'm pulling him to get his private practice open, because what he doesn't know, because he spent his whole life working in hospitals, is the average person is terrified to walk in a hospital until they feel like they're dying. So I want people to understand what this forum is going to be in Discover, because nobody's ever done this before. Bringing together medicine and chiropractic under the chiropractic umbrella. The medical doctors aren't coming to speak about drugs and surgery. They're coming to tell their story about how chiropractic changed their lives and how they're innovating chiropractic into the system. And remember, the Germans invented the philosophy of allopathy. So there are chiropractors practicing at the top of the food chain in this country that invented allopathy, practicing chiropractic. Some of these guys have waiting lists to get in to see them, because we're so lacking in quality chiropractic in this country. So it's really good. There's a lot of chiropractors in the world that are very either anti-medicine or leaning towards medicine. They just haven't had interaction with medical doctors.
It's terrible. It's the best combination.
Those of you that have time, the end of August, the 24th, 25th, and 26th of August, Discover. It's in Hamburg, Germany, one of the greatest cities in the world. It's a great time of the year to come. I encourage you all to come and be able to interact with these people. Those of you who can't get to Hamburg, we're going to pump this out live over YouTube for the whole world to see, chop up these TED Talk segments so that the whole world can see. We have an amazing lineup of speakers, some of the best chiropractors in the world, some really unique people. Some of the people I'm always excited to hear speak. If you go on the Discover site, take a look at the speaker list. There's 32 speakers. There are 30 doctors. There are 2 people that aren't doctors that are going to be speaking about chiropractic. And there's some people that I'm really excited hearing speaking. A couple old Palmer guys that I have coming. Dr. John Paul Pianta, who has been a friend of mine for years. He can read out of the phone book. It's exciting. So much wisdom. And one of his classmates, Dr. Jan-Peer Meersman, who some of you who are football fans is a legend in the football community. But I'm actually excited to hear everybody speak. I'm excited that I get to hear these guys tell their stories all the time, the kind of stories people never hear, because there are people coming into medicine in emergency cases and hearing what happens. Because what's different about these doctors, where they were Hagen said this in a talk he did with Michael a few weeks ago, that these are the deciders. They decide if you get cut open with a knife, if you get a bone saw put onto your spine. And these are the kind of people that should have knowledge of chiropractic, because if you're deciding if somebody gets cut open or not, or if you're laying on a table and there's someone deciding, wouldn't it be great if they knew what chiropractors know? So they might at least try the least invasive thing first. This is what you're going to get at Discover. So anybody that has any questions, and I see a bunch of questions have come, but I'm a little bit older and blinder than I should be. And Teddy, I look forward to seeing you. And
Hi, Teddy.
I wanted to say something about Teddy Picard. He's in Belgium. And last year, Teddy has one of the most beautiful practices in the whole world. It is breathtaking. If you're ever in Brussels, you need to visit. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just overwhelming. But last year, I met this amazing guy, Dr. Jonathan Lisden, who does DNFT, which was kind of like an urban myth for me. I didn't know there was any DNFT left, which is one of the foundational things that formed network spinal analysis, activator Thompson, the foundation principles that these techniques spawned off of. And this guy worked on us, on Christian, Tobias, Hagen, and myself, inside of Teddy's practice. It was amazing. Him and his girlfriend were very welcoming. And Teddy, I hope to see you at Discover. Man, Jonathan's going to be here. I don't know if I've told you this. I just made a video yesterday. Dr. Lisden, Jonathan, who does his DNFT, he worked on you and your girl when we were in Belgium. He's going to be here in June, the 23rd and the 24th. So I welcome you to come and learn this stuff. We're all excited about this, but we're also excited to see you at Discover in August. So anybody has any questions, I know somebody will put the link on the bottom because I'm a little technologically challenged, but I'll share this. I'll put the link to Discover and Jonathan Lisden events in the bottom later on. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No. Come there, a lot of interesting stories to tell.
Yes.
Really. And hope we get connected.